and Kitty here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies, oh so bright. Join us for a blast tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow, sharing all the things you need to know. Kathy and Kenny always in the mix. Pop culture fun fix to fix. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone. Sit for everyone. I brought some for everyone. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone.
It's Saturday night
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture.
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It is Pop Culture Kids coming to you from the north and the south. Me from North Carolina, Kenny from South Jersey. But unfortunately, he's having some technical difficulties and having to reboot his program altogether and get his computer up and running. And I'm having some trouble with my microphone. But we thank you for being with us as we hang out on a Sunday night talking all things pop culture. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of our show. Oh, okay. As the camera does whatever the camera is going to do as I move around here in this room. Uh, Ralph, thanks for being here with us. And oh Lord, I have like the biggest yeah, okay. Let me get my comments under control here and pull them down. Mm, I don't know what it means, but again, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us on a Sunday night. So basically, the program is our podcast, and we record it here live on YouTube on Sunday nights. And pretty much, it was a show born out of the pandemic. My brother and I, as we were dealing with things, all things in the pandemic, me being in North Carolina, him in South Jersey, we started live streaming. And again, growing up, our thing was our thing was basically just to talk movies and being latchkey kids. Basically, we grew up in the age of cable and watching things on HBO. And a fun game for us was always kind of leaving each other messages of movie quotes and different things. And according to Kenny, he is coming. So, and I think he might be here is hanging out in the green room. So, we are going to switch up the scene. Kenny, my brother, how are you?
Hey, sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, I got computer things going on over here, but everything is hunky dory and cool right now.
Can you hear me? Because usually we do our test
Yes,
beforehand to make
yes,
sure you
I
can
can hear
hear.
you. I can hear you fine, and everything's peachy. I want to thank everybody for joining. Ralph, how's it going, buddy?
Ralph, who is the guitar player for Offshot. Okay. Oh,
Yes,
that was your
yes.
former band, right?
Yeah, no, my current band. We're back together.
Oh, your current band. Okay, so
We are back. Offshot is the earthy tool. Oh, Vita,
with
thank you
Earthy
so much.
Tools. I don't know who Earthy Tools is.
Yes, you do. You've met her.
I did. Okay.
Earthy Tools is the lady who made my ring.
Oh, okay. Oh, sweet. Oh, nice. Oh, cause she helped mom with our mother
Vita,
with.
yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Vita.
All
Yes.
right.
Lovely woman. Lovely woman.
Awesome. 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 Well, again, despite since you were late and I was trying to riff, I was just telling people about the origin of our show, how it grew out of the pandemic, and basically kind of out of our latchkey childhood as well, with us
Yes.
always quoting different movies to each other and that whole thing.
We know who
Vita,
you are, Vita.
yes,
Vita.
Vita.
We know I said Vita. I said, we know who you are, Vita. Lovely person. I love Vita.
Okay, who
She's great.
designed? Who fashioned
She
your ring?
designed this ring right here.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I
Give
don't
me
even have
one.
my rings on. I didn't get
I'm,
a
I'm going. I'm
ring.
going. I'm going to have her make me some more too.
Ooh, okay.
And because I like what she does, and she's somebody I like vibing with. Yeah, she's cool people.
Cool people.
Okay,
You
so
gotta
yeah,
have
cool
some
people.
cool
I love.
people
I
in your
love.
life.
I love to surround myself with cool people, man.
Awesome.
That's key in life. So yeah, we started during the pandemic.
Yeah. And we have kept it going. And just
Yes,
our weekly show. We've missed a couple weeks here and there.
yes,
But again, we've been probably live streaming weekly, and we used to be Saturday nights, and I haven't been able to afford to get a new intro because that was done by a company called Music Creative, Radio Music Creative, and anyway, but eventually we'll get it. We'll get a new opening for our Sunday night gigs, but we kind of switched to Sunday nights because after things started opening, we got busy. And Kenny, you do spoken
yes.
word and you are often doing a lot of things in a lot of different venues. But basically, we come here and we choose a topic, we riff on it. But usually, we start our night with a little pop culture news.
Yes.
So,
So we're going
what
to
do we
start
have in
off
pop
with
culture news?
the first story we have is about Tracy Morgan.
Ah,
Apparently, during a Heat Nick game at the Garden, Tracy fell sick,
oh, wow. I
and
didn't hear
during the
this.
third quarter of the game, yeah, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. He later uploaded a picture of him, and he blames it on food poisoning. So imagine you're Tracy Morgan, you're sitting down there, you get food poisoning at the Garden, and you just like they stopped the game because it's Tracy Morgan, and they had to get an ambulance in for him. So boom, there you go.
Because he
But
was
he is
probably
okay now.
courtside.
Yeah, he was courtside probably, and this is he was okay. He's good. And Tracy Morgan is always like, first it was the car accident, now it's this. Yo, man,
Oh, I know.
get it together.
He didn't do
Makes me
anything bad to Diddy, he? Because
no, no, yeah, hey, because if he did something bad to Diddy, if he pissed Diddy off,
I don't know. You know, I don't know how things are operating from behind them bars. Anyway,
yeah,
next story up.
Kanye or Ye, as they like to call him,
You
and I
know
like to
what?
call him ass. I like to call him asshole.
Before you even start with the story, okay, you know what? Tell me the story because I started to just skip this because I have so little
Okay,
desire to hear anything about this fool. But go ahead.
yeah, okay. Well, he
I'm not
released a new
biased.
album called. He released. He released a new album called Bully, and it's also a film starring his son Saint West, and he he attacks Jay Z and Beyonce's kids on social media, and it has something to do with the album and everything. I'm just when you
See,
come for the Beehive, when you come for the Beehive, you better bring an army. I'm just saying.
oh yeah.
And the thing about it is that you can't come for people's kids, cause not if, but um, when I become a popular celebrity, anybody comes for my kids, I'm going Philly on them. I'm just saying. I don't have the graces that other people have when it comes to my kids and my grandkids. Look, anybody can get it. So I don't think it's cool
Well,
to
why
come
would
after
he
people's
be
kids.
doing an album called Bully and then, in essence,
I because
bullying or
he's
picking on people's
Kanye and
kids? I don't get
he's
it.
Kanye and he's stupid.
Okay.
He actually had a birthday party. He actually, I guess, what a custody. He had, and I got to look at the story to see who he had over. He had a MAGA influencer at his house,
Mm-hmm.
and he was supposed to get one of the kids. And when she found out the MAGA influencers were at his house, Kim Kardashian said, "No, you're not getting the kids.
Oop, yikes.
That's not happening."
Ew.
So
All
moving on
right.
to my next news.
Next story.
Monique and Tyler Perry feud. Monique has a feud with everybody. Everybody can get
She
it as
got
far
beef
as
with
Monique is
everybody.
concerned.
Well,
She
she
got
was
beef
saying at
with
one
everybody.
point that they had like kind of blackballed her from, you know, from Hollywood, which was
Well, I'm going to say it this way. I'm a Monique fan in some of the
Mhm.
movies that she's in.
Mhm.
I'm not a Monique fan when she talks and I hear her interviews. I'm not a Monique fan for her stand-up routine. Some of the movies where she's scripted and she, does different things, like Two Can Play That Game. She was great in that. A lot of things she was good in. Monique does too much complaining for me. Like I don't hear anybody else complaining but Monique. And the whole thing was she
But
wanted everybody to
here's
boycott
the thing,
Netflix.
though: if she's being disrespected, then yeah, she should be complaining. If people are,
But is she being disrespected? Is she really? Is
or
she
if
really?
she's being blacklisted or whatever, blackballed or
I but
whatever the
she's
phrase
but
is.
if you're hard to work with,
But
if you're hard to work with,
here's the problem, Kenny, because you know what? And they say that, and usually it's about women. And what happens is, oh yeah, we're hard to work with. That's when we speak up and we don't want to hear a lot of bullshit. So I'm sorry.
no, I
So when
totally
women
get that.
speak up
I
or
totally get
express
that.
or express their authority, then you got to be labeled the B word, and then you
Yeah,
get these
well,
labels. So I don't
here's the
know.
problem I'm having. Here's the problem I'm having. Here's the problem I'm having with it this time. In this instance, she came at Tyler Perry for having a double standard. Because apparently Angie Stone, one of the a really great singer who passed away about a week or two ago, Angie Stone's service, Tyler Perry got up and said words about Angie Stone.
Mhm.
This is Monique's problem. This is what her energy is not good. He said good things about Angie Stone, and Monique called him a hypocrite and said he had double standards for doing because some of the things he said about Angie Stone didn't reflect his relationship with Monique. So she took Angie Stone's death and made it about her.
Okay.
This I'm not now wait a minute, I'm not a Tyler Perry fan. We all know that. But in this case, I gotta take Tyler Perry's side. This is a man who's honoring his friend at a funeral service, and he says some words, and then Monique piggybacks on that word and says, now it's all about me and how bad you treated me. That's not cool. That's bad mojo. That's bad karma.
All right. I hear you. I hear you.
I'm just saying. So, hey, Lisa, how you doing, Lisa?
But
Our
I just
cousin
don't
Lisa's
want
in
to.
the house.
I just don't want to see her being maligned if she's just a woman speaking up for herself. And there's no reason for her to be blacklisted, like her comedy or not. And I
Yeah,
I think she's pretty funny, but again.
I think
So,
she's funny
but
when
but
she's.
yeah,
I think
I
she's
I
funny in
get
different
that for somebody taking
scripts.
it's somebody else's funeral, somebody else's memorial, and making it about them. I see where that could happen.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I hear you on that. I hear
You know,
you.
real quick though, I have another story. When I was going through pop culture news, I read this story, and we usually talk about celebrities. This has nothing to do with celebrities. I read this story. It is not funny because it's a crime, because a woman died. Okay,
Why
this
did you start
woman,
off laughing? That was
I because
disturbing.
okay, well, hear the story.
All right.
This woman was killed during a conjugal visit in a prison.
Ooh.
She was strangled. Her husband was a known serial killer, and he was being good. He had a conjugal visit, and she went for the conjugal visit because they get 48 hours or something like that. They give them a little apartment room, and they have it. And apparently, the family is upset because this woman went to sleep with a serial killer and was strangled, and they're like, where was the protection? It was just a funny story to me because I'm like, you
That well, to me
you went.
it's pretty sad and pretty tragic, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Lisa's comment is oh, Monica's washed up and she'll do anything for attention. Well, I guess so.
Wow.
If you're trying to
Yeah, she will.
if you're trying to roll up on somebody's funeral and make it about
Yeah,
you,
it's
I can see where you're coming from with that. Yeah.
yeah. So today's show is about no laugh track TV,
Mm.
which is TV sitcoms with no laugh track.
And that's
And
weird
I
because
think
for years we got
right,
used to the laugh track from all the way back from like, the Dick Van Dyke Show and Leave It to Beaver. Like they threw the laughs in the middle in the show so that you knew what to do.
yeah. But you don't always need a laugh track.
No.
You don't always need a laugh track.
Because
And the
most
show,
of these shows are from the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. Oops, my paper's
a
in the
lot of
way.
these are from the 2000s. Well, that's when they start doing. That's when they started doing the no laugh track because
Mhm.
all in the 80s and 70s, everybody thought you needed a laugh track.
And even before that. So yeah, we're looking at the no laugh track TV. So, and one of the things I think I like about that is just the fact that you get to decide what's funny. So it's not like those old Brady Bunch reruns where, something happened, womp, 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 and they're laughing and telling you when to laugh. Or even the sitcoms, like you said, of the 70s and 80s. And have you ever seen a sitcom taping?
I've never seen a sitcom taping. Have you?
I
I know
have.
you have.
Yeah, when after graduation, when I spent the summer in California, I went to a couple different sitcom tapings like Give Me a Break, and I forgot the other one I saw. I saw like two or three, but in any case, it was interesting. Well, wait, I think 227 was the other one I saw. It was interesting because one of the shows was fairly new and it took much longer, and the other show had been on a while, so they kind of like knew all the rhythms and things to do. But and again, the audience laughs, but when they have to tape and retape something, it's like, yeah, we laughed at that once. And
Yeah, we're not going to keep laughing at that.
right, you're not going to keep laughing, so you can see why you need a laugh track. But I love
There
this
was,
list because these shows, you get to kind of insert your own laugh. And I think for a lot of them, and maybe you'll talk about it too, is also some of the camera techniques that they get to
yes,
use
yes.
as a part of that kind of style. Because I know, like a couple of them, it almost feels like a documentary kind of
Yes, yes.
style
A
or
lot, a
take.
lot of
But
the good ones, it's like a documentary, and we're gonna start our list off.
okay,
Let's jump
let's
right
start the
into it.
list.
Okay, so the first show I'm going to put on here, this show had a laugh track, but they took the laugh track out in certain parts. So MASH is one of my first all-time favorite sitcoms that I loved.
Mhm.
I love MASH. I think I've seen every episode of MASH for 11 years. When they did the last episode, I was one of the people sitting there like, oh man, this is the last episode. They're all going home. And yeah. So at first, when they first started, because MASH went from 72 to 83, 1972 to 1983. When they first started, they took the laugh track out of the operating room scenes on purpose
Hmm.
because they're operating and they didn't think that was like a place for laugh tracks. And then there was other episodes that they did that they took the laugh track out. And then when they got to the following like two seasons, they totally took the laugh track out. And you got the laughs otherwise. And there was some episodes in there also that they totally took the laugh track out. And one episode specifically, I believe, was To Sleep Perchance to Dream. And that's when the whole cast went through um went through different dreams about the war because they hadn't got any sleep. And then when they dozed off, they had these really bad dreams. So at one point, they all said, at the end, they all was like, "Oh, we got time to take a nap." And then they all looked at each other and, you know what? Let's sit and talk. Or let's do something else. Like, we don't have to go to sleep. Like, they didn't want to go to sleep. So that was a pretty good episode. I totally remember that episode. I
Oh, you
put
got a
two on
photographic
here.
memory. The one episode of, well, not episode, the one scene of MASH that I remember the most. It was right before the end as they were winding down, or no, was it before the end or when the Colonel died? Who was supposed? It wasn't before the last episode, but when Radar came in and kind of told
Oh, yeah, when Colonel Blake passed away.
when Colonel
And
when his
what,
plane went down. Hmm.
yes, what's great about that scene? No one knew that scene was happening before they filmed it. They wanted the reaction of the cast to be genuine. So what had happened is Gary Berghoff, I believe his name is,
Berghoff. Hmm.
the actor
Yes.
who played Radar. They gave him the lines right before they did that scene. They said, "Oh, we got one more scene, yada yada," and he came in, and so when he read that scene that Colonel Blake had died, that's the first time the cast had heard that part. So so the tears was kind of genuine on these people and their character, wishing that character off, and um, McLean, the actor, they knew he was off the show.
Okay. Uh,
No chance
Lisa
coming
has a
back.
good comment, and I'm going to save that after our little kind of commercial break, and then I'll come back to that comment because she's got an idea for a show episode. So we'll talk about that a little later. But next on the list is
Okay, so before we get to Schitt's Creek, I
oh,
want to add to that I just added on, and I know you didn't get a chance to get to it.
I was about to
And
say I did.
I
Okay,
know there's these two shows that were on I believe NBC because they were on Peacock, but they only lasted two seasons from 2001 to 2023. They were hilarious and they had no laugh track. One was called American Auto, and it was about an automotive company building cars
hmm.
that was sinking, and they were trying to bring it back, and it was hilarious.
Who starred in that? I don't think I've seen that. American Auto.
American Auto. You know what? I don't know who's. I know the one woman who started, and I can't think of her name.
Okay.
But the other one, and I don't know who. I don't know every. I know some of the actors who started. I just can't remember everybody's name. The other one is called Grand Crew from 2021, 2023, and I just remember them in the car coming back from the store. But Grand Crew was kind of like
I can't remember which one.
Friends, but instead of them hanging out at a coffee house, these guys hung out at a wine bar. So these guys hung out at a wine bar,
And you
and it
said
was
Grand Auto
Grand
and
Auto, no Grand Crew and
Grand
American Auto,
Crew, Grand
and
Crew,
they're
and
on
American
they're
Auto.
they're on Peacock, and they are extremely funny. And I'm so sorry
Oh,
they
they're
got
on
canceled.
Peacock. I can stop
Yeah,
writing. I don't have
yeah,
Peacock.
especially Grand Crew. Grand Crew was like two women and three dudes, and they were black. It was like a Black Friends. The second Black Friends after
I was
Living
gonna say
Single.
Living Color
Yeah,
was
Living
Living
Single.
Single
Living,
rather
yeah, it was the second
was
Black Friend.
Black Friends before there was Friends. So Friends
Before there
was
was
actually
Friends,
white Living
and
Color.
this is
I
like
mean
blacks,
Living
all of
Single.
them.
I'm a little
This is
spacey
this is
tonight.
like all of them. It didn't have a laugh track, and it was hilarious. There's one scene where I totally remember it, and it was hilarious. One guy wanted to get out because he was getting over a girl, and all the guys was going out, and they were playing the Usher song. You don't have to call, and they were doing boom, 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 and they're driving in the car. They go boom, 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 today, boom, 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 and it's a great. It is a funny show, hilarious. Next we have Schitt's Creek.
Okay, there you go.
Schitt's Creek did not have a laugh track, and it was on cable, and it was when this is one of those shows you can binge and just keep watching.
What service is it on? Because I've heard so much
It's
about this show,
HBO.
but
I believe it's on HBO.
HBO, because I've never seen it and I've heard good things about it, and it has people
Oh,
in it I really like.
yeah,
You know,
Schitt's Creek
Eugene
is
Levy and
hilarious.
mm,
Schitt's Creek is hilarious.
I got to check
It
that out.
is it is so funny. Does not have a laugh track. And look at the cast you got there, I mean, it's just all in there. I went from 2015 to 2020, and they ended it the right way. They wrapped it up and where they all there was an ending for everybody. Next you have Everybody Hates Chris.
Ah, that was
Everybody hates Chris.
Chris Rock's kind
Which
of
yes. It's kind of like, well, here's the thing. They did it in the 70s when Chris Rock was actually coming up they did it in the 80s rather. Chris
mhm.
Rock was actually coming up in the 70s. This went from 2005 to 2009. Regina Arnold, Terry Crews, and who is that man's name who's going to show up later on in our list?
I know you
Anyway,
you can't think of his name who played the
I
title
can't remember
character.
his name. Yeah,
So he's
but
actually one of
anyway,
those child actors that, successfully made the transition to adult actor. So,
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, he is. Only thing about his acting,
this
Tyler
is when
James
we need
Williams,
Ed.
Tyler James Williams,
Okay, Tyler James
and yeah,
Williams.
Tyler. The one thing I've seen him, he was in Walking Dead after he did this when he was grown up. After he did Dear White People, he was in Walking Dead. He was in Walking Dead real brief because they killed him, and he knew he was going to die because he started planning his future. Whenever you start playing your future on Walking Dead, that's when you get killed.
That's what you got.
Whenever you have a happy life on Walking Dead, boom. Ralph, we're getting there.
Oh
Um,
wait, you didn't put that on my
Actually, you know what?
list.
We don't have Curb Your Enthusiasm on the list.
Oh, Ralph's got a new one that's on the list.
Yes, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
So much funnier
Yeah,
than
Ralph?
soundtrack
Yes.
and no laugh track. That's right. That's right. Uh, let's see. And Dwana is saying, "Oh, I didn't know that was
Well,
about little Chris Rock. Yikes! I suck at pop culture for sure." Well, you're in the right
now,
place because Kenny
now,
does as well.
Kathy,
He can't remember a name to save
I
his
can't
life.
remember
So,
the name of it, yeah. Now, Kathy, Chris Rock show was very funny. Had no laugh track. It was his childhood, and it was something about his childhood that you told me that when you met Chris Rock and his brother was kind of true.
what I told you?
Yeah, your mom told me that when you met Chris Rock and his brother, like how everybody like in the show, everybody likes his brother more than they like Chris.
Well, no, no. I just remember meeting his brother at the comedy club and him being just so kind of sweet and respectful. And not that Chris wasn't, but I just really liked his brother and thought he was like just he was much younger than him, but again, just really cool kid. And maybe because he called me ma'am, and I'm like, and I wasn't that old at the time, but it's like anybody who calls you ma'am, you gotta say, "Oh, well, aren't you just special? Don't you make me feel special?" Whereas now that I am old enough to be a ma'am, somebody calls me ma'am, I'm like, "Well, damn, I'm not that old," but I guess I am. So, gotta
Well,
take the
ma'am,
good and the bad.
Now,
Okay.
now that we're halfway through the list, why don't you tell them what they can do to follow us and help us out
All right.
and support us?
We so appreciate you being here and hanging out with us on the Sunday night. Gosh, Saturday night. You know what? That's wishful me hoping that it is Saturday night. So I have another day before you're back to work. In any case, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us as Pop Culture Kids, brother and sister team, Kathy and Kenny. You can check us out and find us on Who's Got Next Radio, as well as our podcast version of this very show you're listening to. And we're in the places that you get your podcasts, as well as our website, kathyandkenny.com. And there you can find our blog posts. You can join to be a member of our site. And that way you get updates about the show and the weeks that we're not on. But we just thank you here. And the easiest, quickest, cheapest way for you to support us is to hit that thumbs up button and give us a like of some kind, and follow us on YouTube, Pop Culture Kids. All right. What do we
And
have next
subscribe.
on the list,
Subscribe.
my brother?
Next, my sister, we have Arrested Development, which was what went from 2003 to 2006. Then it came back on in 2013. Then it went from 2018 to 2019, I believe, on cable. So it was on network TV. Then it went to cable. I have never seen Arrested Development.
Because I was going to ask you about it because I've never seen it either. And
I've
you know
never
what
seen
I'm
it.
noticing about the list? Like, I think a lot of the shows without these laugh tracks were like critically acclaimed. Like
Yes.
they
Yes.
tended to like find audiences and almost cult followings. Because I've heard people talk that way about Schitt's Creek.
Curb Your
Everybody
Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Which
Like,
I didn't. Well, I didn't think Curb Your Enthusiasm was a sitcom. I didn't think it was. I didn't see it as a sitcom. That's why I didn't put it on there.
oh, oh, it definitely was a sitcom. It definitely was.
Okay.
Yeah,
I might, I might have to check
because
it out.
Curb
I
Your
might have to check it out.
Enthusiasm, it was one of the co-creators of Seinfeld, Larry David, who the George character is loosely based on. Um, so it was his show that was like, I guess, semi-autobiographical at times, but exaggerated to the point. But yeah, that didn't have a laugh track at all. And it was, yeah. Now that show I have seen a couple episodes of, and that is
And
it's pretty
I
good.
wonder why I haven't.
Oh,
Because
you know what
okay,
other show
Curb,
that's not on the
Arrested Development.
list? Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Well,
ahead.
I'm sorry, but one more thing. Arrested Development has Jason Bateman in it,
Mm.
and I'm sorry, he is such a funny comedic actor.
Oh,
Like I don't think I've ever seen anything Jason Bateman's been in that I have not liked.
I've really liked Jason Bateman. Yeah, and
He's
I
another child
didn't.
actor that came up.
Right, another child actor that made it to the other side. But and actually the show, I forgot the show he did with Sally oh not Sandy Duncan, I guess replaced
Yes, it
Valerie
started with
Harper.
yeah,
I
Valerie
can't
Harper. Yeah,
remember that show, that sitcom, which I
yeah.
really wasn't that great a fan of. I guess that's when he was younger, when he was a child. But as an actor, one of my favorite roles was him in Juno, which he wasn't necessarily funny in that, but I did like him in Juno. Did you see Juno, that
I've
movie?
never seen Juno. I've
Oh,
never seen Juno.
it's actually pretty good.
I've never seen Juno. So
It's worth the watch.
next we have another show I haven't seen, 30 Rock from 2006 to 2013.
And and I think this was the time, well, this show was on, I think when I was in grad school. So I could tell when certain shows were on when I was, working and going to school at night. So I know there's like a whole slew of shows like in the mid 90s or mid 2000s that I definitely missed because I had stuff to do.
Yeah, I missed this show too. I didn't watch a lot of whenever back in these days, whenever I watch network TV, I watched superhero shows. I was watching Arrow and all the Arrow shows that came with it on CW and the superhero shows. So, I just in 2006 to 2013, Hey, I was raising kids.
So everything you watched was either on Disney Plus or Disney
Yes,
Channel or
Disney.
Nickelodeon.
Yes, Nickelodeons. I know all about iCarly, Victoria Justice, SpongeBob,
I don't have a
and
clue.
all the High School Musicals. Yeah,
Oh God, you
that's
poor thing.
that's the hell what I was doing.
Oh gosh, High School Musical on repeat forever and
Yes,
ever.
all three High School and other like Lemonade Mouth. That movie, which is actually pretty good, is a Disney movie. It was actually pretty good.
All right, if you say so.
I watched Lemonade Mouth over and over again because my kids had me watch it when I. Okay, moving on to the list. Next, we have Malcolm in the Middle from 2000 to 2006. Now, there's one scene from Malcolm in the Middle, and I've never really actually watched Malcolm in the Middle, but there's one scene that plays the scene that it goes around and plays over and over again, and I love it because okay, the show is about Malcolm in the Middle, which is Malcolm is the title character, and is in the middle because he's the middle child, and 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 it's supposed to be, and that's Frankie Muniz.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be about Frankie Muniz being the middle child, but the one child that was kind of funny in this whole thing was um I can't remember the kid's name in the show because I've seen it once or twice. But I've seen the one scene with the youngest one, and I can't remember which one was the youngest one. But he walked in, and his mother's like, "Don't look. I know where you've been," because he was out with another mom, like getting cookies and getting his clothes ironed and stuff like that, and he was hanging out with another mom. So his mom and the conversation. You gotta see the clip. The conversation is hilarious. But Malcolm in the Middle is another one that had no laugh track, but was funny. And I've seen certain clips of Malcolm in the Middle, and it was funny. Next, we have The New Girl from 2011 2018. And of course, yes, you put the picture up there because the one reason I like The New Girl is because they had Prince on the show, and that was hilarious show, and that was funny.
You
And
know,
one
we
of the
talked
funniest
about
things,
this one week, and I had to go and find this episode and watch it, and it was well worth it. It was kind of surprising to see, like, oh wait, Prince did a sitcom, like, like of all. I don't know. This is just not something you expect. Now, my favorite singer, Tina Marie, she did a couple different TV shows where she was New York Undercover. I think she appeared on that, but
really,
yeah, she sang on New York Undercover, and then what's the show with Monique? What was that show? Was it the
Brand,
She's done
um,
guest
the
appearances
Monique,
on on-
the Monisha spinoff.
right. I think she was on that show as well. But yeah, but Prince was the last person you would expect to see like pop up on
I
a
like in
TV
that
show.
episode. I
But
like in
that
that episode
episode
when he
was
goes,
that episode
"Hi,
was solid. I did enjoy that.
I'm Prince," and they look at him and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give you a chance to freak out," and they freak out, and then she takes them, and they're sitting there eating pancakes, which Prince is known for eating pancakes, and she
Prince is
goes,
known for eating pancakes.
"Yes,
How did
yes,
you
because
know
you know
that
me, man."
random fact?
Because I know about Prince. Because I went to a Prince party and they served pancakes and they served starfish cookies and coffee
Starfish and coffee. Okay. Well,
with
that
maple
makes
syrup and
sense.
jam. Yes,
Maple syrup and jam.
and spaghetti because he liked spaghetti apparently back in the day. So anyway, at the one scene where he's in the evening, she goes, "That's stupid," and she looks at Prince. She goes, "You're stupid, Prince." And he looked at her and she goes, "I'm sorry." And then at the end, because they get up on stage with Prince and is sitting in the seat, and he goes, and they're sitting in the one guy's sitting there like this, he's like, uh, uh,
So basically, you got to Google "New Girl
yeah,
Prince"
yeah,
and
because he's sitting
watch
there,
that
he's in
episode. It's
shock.
worth it.
He's in shock because so Prince, and then like because when he sang the song, he called her up on stage. So is the child. He called her up on stage, and she sang the song with him, and they go, "Wait a minute, how'd you know the words of the song?" And they're like, "I think Prince is magic." Like, yeah. And then one guy sitting in the corner, he's like, because he's still shocked that he got on stage with Prince and he met Prince. And then they look for the other girl, like there's always one hot girl in every show. They look at the other girl and they're like, wait a minute, where's such and such, Cece or whatever her name was? And they cut back and she's still with Prince playing ping pong. It was a great episode. But then the other show, I've seen other shows of that, like watching that, and I've watched other shows, and it is a funny show with no laugh track, and it didn't really need a laugh track. It was a funny show. Next, we have Community.
Now that's another one that, again, I know it's gotten a lot of
Community
critical acclaim, but I don't think
is
I saw that one either.
Community is hilarious. Community, they just got the new girl up.
I'm sorry.
Community is hilarious. Wait for a minute. Us. Community is so funny. Now, Community is all about these people in community college,
Okay.
and they all form a study group, and the study group is formed because the one guy, Joel McHale, his character Jeff, is trying to get with Britta Gillian Jacobs, trying to get with her character, and he creates a study group with her. But then um, Danny Pudi, who plays Abed, is he's kind of autistic and socially challenged, and he invites himself and he invites everybody else to the study group, not realizing that Jeff is trying to kick Kane to Britta. So all these people on this group, and he comes off as somebody. Jeff is a con man, really, because he was a lawyer in his before he came to Community, but they found out he was a lawyer that really didn't have a law degree and conned his way into being a lawyer. So, he was that guy. Jeff McHale was very charismatic in this. So, the
You
one
mean Joel
part,
Joel McHale?
Joe McHale, yeah, Joe McHale. And the one part I didn't like about the show was that I'm not a big Chevy Chase fan. Chevy Chase was in this, but eventually Chevy Chase had to leave because Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, as you all know,
Hmm.
did complain about, and other people did complain about him on the show because he was very. I'm sure Yvette Nicole Brown probably complained too. Great actress.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that Nicole Brown was in this. I like
she's in the
her.
show too, yes. And they're all going to community college, and they all have different reasons for going to community college, and they all have a study group together. Chevy Chase was in it, but the Chevy Chase character got written off the show because I think the cast he didn't get along with the cast, and it's Chevy Chase. He's a misogynistic, arrogant, racist dickhead. So
You talk like you know him, but okay, all right, whatever
yeah,
you
I've
say.
heard enough about him.
All right,
But Community, Kathy, you have to binge Community. It
all
is
right.
on. It is on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Okay,
It
let
is
me.
on Netflix, and it is hilarious. It is hilarious, and it's fun, and it's well worth it.
All right. So
Um,
that's what I'm doing next week, and I'll be doing some community binging, and that
and
way I can
it's a
report back next
sidebar.
week.
Donald Glover eventually became Childish Gambino, which is a very famous rapper and did great music like This Is America and everything else. Um, Abed, the gentleman who played Abed, Danny Pudi, his character, Abed, and Donald Glover's character, Troy, were good friends on the TV show, and they actually became good friends in real life.
Oops.
So being good friends in real life, they always hung out with each other. And before Donald Glover became Childish Gambino and got into the music, he played some stuff for Danny Pudi. And Danny Pudi's like, yo, this guy is not staying on our show for too long because he's very talented and he's going to do this music thing. So his fellow actors saw his potential way before we got a chance to hear it because
Okay.
Donald Glover played some samples for me. He knew he saw it. So next we have on our list
I think I gave the
Um,
next two away because I was
yeah,
clicking through the buttons.
we we
Sorry.
we have The Office.
And now this was
The
based on
Office.
a British show that, I guess had a lot of success in England, but then rather than bringing the English version to America, they kind of Americanized it with The Office, and I think this version might have had even more success. I don't know if it lasted more seasons or not.
The Office is. I've seen some episodes of The Office, and one of my daughters, Mackenzie, was a big fan of The Office and watched it all the time. This is a funny show. This did not need a laugh track at all, not even the slightest.
Mm.
So many things happened in this show that was just so off the cuff funny. And this was done in that interview style, whereas they would talk and then the camera come to them and they would say like why they did something in a certain scene. So I mean, The
It was
Office.
like another character in this show was the off camera person, because I think with this style, and even in the next show, this style is, even though you would have these scenes of seeing things going on, you'd also have scenes where people were kind of talking one to one to the camera, almost like
Yes,
we do every week, but
yes,
kind of
yes.
giving their asides about what's going on.
Now, yes, in The Office, as you know, it has some great Steve Carell, um, Steve Carell, John Krasinski, some great talents in The Office. It's just everybody. Now, here's a side story. The Office takes place in a town in Pennsylvania, is where they located it. And I dated a woman who lived in the town that they showed in the promo and where it was supposed to be from in Pennsylvania. That's my only connection to The Office.
Is that the
I
whole
dated a woman.
story?
That's the whole story. I dated a woman who.
Once upon a time.
That's what I
Is that
dated a woman. Yeah,
that is so
she was.
sad.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Well, my dating life is sad. So
That's the whole story.
that's the whole story. Sorry. Moving on. Next, we have Modern Family.
Now,
Modern Family is a very popular show.
now this show I actually just discovered because they've started showing reruns on like Nick at Night.
Yeah. I've watched some of Modern Family before,
Mhm.
and I watched some yesterday just to re.
I take it from that side. It doesn't work
Modern
for you.
Family, Modern Family does need a laugh track.
You say it does need a laugh track?
It's not, yeah, because some of the comedy in Modern Family is not really funny. It's 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 typical. I don't know. And this is supposed to be a Modern Family, right? It's supposed to be a Modern Family. Now, yeah, the gay couple and the gay couple adopted an Asian child.
Hmm.
The father married a Latino woman who brought a Latino son. You know why this is not really a Modern Family?
Why?
Ain't a black person in the mix. Ain't even a half and a half black person. Every Modern Family has some kind of black person in the. They ain't got nothing. Nothing.
And that's your biggest gripe with it?
That is my biggest gripe. Now, how you a Modern Family? You ain't got a mixed black person in the mix. Come on, man. Come on.
I'm going to reserve all my comments.
Okay. I'm
I'm going
just
to
saying.
reserve all my comments. And
Like
just
make a
say from the
believable, man.
episodes that I've seen,
Make a
I've
believable.
actually enjoyed it. I do have
Make it
problems with
believable.
it, but that's not my biggest problem. But
What are your problems with it?
actually, you know what? And I know that probably, again, having a gay couple, yeah, it's groundbreaking, but I don't know. To me, sometimes I think the characterizations seem a little too um
Stereotypical.
stereotypical,
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
and that makes me feel uncomfortable. The same thing with, the younger Latino wife. I don't know, it's just some of the stereotypes I think that they play too. I don't know. I
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
I
don't think
mean,
it is that funny, but that's
it
just
seems
me.
like Modern Family goes for
So maybe
the
I'm
easy
kind of glad
puns,
there
the
isn't
easy.
a black member of their Modern
Yeah.
Family.
I mean, Modern Family goes for the easy jokes.
Hmm.
I feel like Modern Family goes for the easy hits and the easy
Although
puns.
I tell you, you know what? I actually had a laugh out loud moment this weekend with a TV show that is not necessarily a comedy because it doesn't have a laugh track. It's more a sci-fi kind of show. The show I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks that I just like absolutely love, Severance. Um, and if you want to binge, I would say binge that. Do the first season first, though, because if you come in on the second season, you'll be totally lost. But there was just a moment in that season finale that literally made me spill juice out of my nose because I was laughing so hard. But okay, that's a visual that you just won't be able to get rid of. But you're welcome, podcast listener. Humble podcast listener. Thank you so much.
Ah, ah.
All right. All right. Let's hit the end of the list. You ready?
Okay, so the last one on the list is, of course, Abbott Elementary, which is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. Woo. And then they last.
Hilarious. Wait for it. Us. Hilarious. Now, you
Now,
know what I like about this show? They explain why they're talking to the camera because there's a camera crew, and then everybody knows that there's a camera crew there.
mhm.
Because they even break the fourth wall and say, "Why is there a camera crew here?" Oh, they film, and then they sometimes they look at the camera crew and they say, "Don't film this. Like this is not to be known." And this, that, and the other. And this show, I think the one thing about this show, and they do this in The Office also, it's the looks that they give the camera.
Oh, what
They,
break?
they,
It's
they,
that
they,
breaking the fourth wall. Yeah.
yeah, yes. Instead of breaking it forward, they did that in The Office, but they do it so well in Abbott Elementary, where they break the fourth wall and they just kind of look at the camera like, "Did he really say that, or did that
Did
really
she just do
happen,
that?
or
Did the
did she
principal
just do
just do
that?"
that? Because I love the
Yeah,
woman who plays the principal. But and again, I guess this show too pulls at my heart, and I have not, I have not seen every episode, so I know I could do some binging. But when I do get to watch it, I do enjoy it. I do laugh because not only does it have that Philly connection because it's set in Philly, and the creator is from Philly, but also it deals with education. So again, two
I
of my
have
passions,
seen
my city and my
I have
my
seen
career.
every episode of Abbott Elementary, every episode of Abbott Elementary, and I love Abbott Elementary. I don't know what they're going. I don't know what I'm going to do if they cancel Abbott
Abbott
Elementary.
Elementary.
It is such. It is such a funny show, and
Well, you know what happens?
sometimes
Usually when they do these shows, they do lock people in for like the 3 years if a pilot gets picked up. So for most of these shows, we usually can get 3 good years, but then after that, it's iffy because if the show takes off, if it's popular, if people really enjoy it and love it, and then the stars start asking for some more money, and then you
look.
start
If
losing
anybody
people,
from
you
Abbott
lose the
Elementary
sauce.
if anybody from Abbott Elementary asks for more money, give them the money. Show me
show
the
them
money.
show them the
Alan
money.
James Williams, Janelle James, who plays the principal, Lisa Ann Walter, who plays Sheminte, the South Philly teacher, who is about to get on my list with Whoopi and Janet. She's about to get on my list with Whoopi and Janet. Chris Perfetti, who plays the one white teacher in there who happens to be gay, and he is hilarious. Shirley Ralph Williams, Stanford Davis, who plays the janitor, and Quinta Bronson, who is the writer, star, creator of the show. And wow, wow, this is exactly what we need. This show is hilarious without a laugh track. I like the way they touch on Philly, and it's not even so much that they talk about Philly like they're in Philly, but they actually name specific parts of Philly and specific things that are relevant to Philadelphia. And me being a person, a native of Philadelphia, and me living in South Jersey, so close to Philadelphia, and working in Philadelphia, some of the references is great for me because I'm just like, oh wow, you're talking about that, and you're talking about this, and and the
So
fact that
yeah,
they
the
have it,
references hit home.
yeah, the reference is home, and I like Shemente's South Philly references. They're so they're so funny. They're so they're so funny, so great, and I
So now
like
that we've gone through this huge list, everything from MASH to Schitt's Creek, Everybody Loves Chris, Abbott Elementary, Modern Family, New Girl, Community, The Office, Curb Your Enthusiasm, 30 Rock, Malcolm in the Middle. What is your, or maybe it's one we didn't mention, what is your favorite uh, TV show with no laugh track? That whole, plug it in yourself kind of. And I do like those shows where they are kind of talking to the camera, like The
yeah,
Office and
I love
Abbott,
that. Now,
Abbott
and
Elementary, and Modern
here's
Family
the
to a
thing.
certain extent. They do it too. They do the same interview
Yeah,
style.
they did interviews and stuff, and actually there was an episode of WandaVision where
Mhm.
she did it like they do Modern Family in The Office, where she talks to the camera like
Oh,
because
they did like a sitcom version. Mhm.
they did like a sitcom version, like a no laugh track sitcom version, because throughout the series they
It
were
wasn't
going
the whole
through.
episode though. It was just wasn't it an episode where they did multiple
Well, no,
TV
the
series.
first episode they did it like Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh,
They
that's
did like
true. You're right.
they did like a
You're,
'60s show, and then they did like a '70s show,
you're right.
and then they
You're
did like
right.
yeah, of course
Because
I'm
then they
right.
did a Brady Bunch style 70s
Yeah,
kind of show. And that's right. That's right.
yeah, yeah.
That was
So
that was like a one season a one season series that really did we ever do one season series? It seems like we did, didn't we?
no, I think we did. I think we did.
Okay.
Dewana has a question that I want you to answer for me.
Okay, we got a question. So, asking for a friend. What is a laugh track? Okay. Well, again, a laugh track. Usually, it's. I don't think I have a laugh track on here, do I? On my sound effects. Let me see if I was looking to see if I had a laugh track on my sound effects, but it's just like the canned laughter that usually plays after like the joke. Whenever a sitcom, I think any sitcom you watch after the almost after you hear the rim shot, it's like, oh wait, and then insert the joke, and then you hear laughter. And I wish I had a. I don't have a laugh. I don't have a laugh sound effect. Um, that's a shame. I should have a laugh.
Because I say some funny stuff sometimes. Wow.
I got
But you
crickets.
had but you had the crickets. But you had the crickets.
I have applause, but I don't have a laugh track. But the laugh track usually is just the laugh that goes in, insert joke here, and then they just chuckles. Whereas some of the shows we were talking about tonight were unique because they didn't have like the joke or the laugh track to insert. Okay, so hopefully that explains it in my limited understanding and knowledge. The Office, right? The Office had no laugh track, so basically
Yeah, we did do The Office.
Yeah, and they would just
So
say, you know,
we didn't do we didn't do Young Sheldon. That was one that we didn't do.
"Oh,
And
Young Sheldon, that was a
the
good
original
one."
the original show was Big Bang Theory, and that's where it came from. Big Bang Theory had a laugh track. My son hates the Big Bang Theory, and him and his wife hate the Big Bang. And they have a tendency. And at one point, he was sending me the show without the laugh tracks in it to show me that the Big Bang Theory wasn't funny. But I'm still like,
You're still a fan
dude,
of The Big Bang Theory. I
I'm still a fan of Big Bang
I
Theory.
do
I
I
love it.
do like Young Sheldon. I found that one day and and I binged some
I
of
don't
that.
know. I don't know if that could be considered it is a sitcom,
It's a sitcom.
but it's not like a you know it's it's not
I
like a
what is it's like a half
I
hour
think it's like
show. I think it
yeah
is a
yeah
sitcom.
but I consider that show like Modern Family.
Okay, why is that?
Where it's not, where it's a sitcom with no laugh track, but it's not knee slapping funny. It's family funny. It's something that would happen in your family that's kind of funny that
I don't
you would
know.
get.
And
And
I
it's
actually
like,
like it a little
it's not
more
like
because
all,
I actually like it a little more because it kind of reminds me of the spin-off days of like when you had a show like for instance MASH had several spin-offs, and even though MASH was this like comedy, you know, it had spin-offs that were actually drama series, so it kind of took it in like a different direction. I don't think Young Sheldon would be considered a drama, but because you had like Trapper John and Luke, well, wait, Luke Grant was a spinoff of Mary Tyler Moore. Sorry, but again, too, I think it is kind of cool when you can have spinoffs that bend in a different genre as opposed to,
yeah.
you know, where you started off with. And even
Well,
though the Big Bang Theory was like this lot recorded live in front of a studio audience, that's a different vibe than some of the shows we talked about tonight. Because, you know, recorded live in front of a studio audience, those are the shows that wind up getting that laugh track, whether it's the studio audience providing it or even them kind of pumping in some laughs. Um, when the studio audience isn't kind of bringing the volume. But before we go tonight, I did want to, and I know we're over time, but I did want to bring back this comment that Lisa made because usually at the end we do talk about what we're going to talk about for next week. And Lisa's saying, I have a show idea about what about movie party scenes? Because she just saw Trading Places again for the 1000th time. And that party scene at the house was wild when they put everybody out. So
you
I
know
don't
what?
know. I like that idea.
Let next week we will do new movie party scenes.
Movie party scenes. So next week we're
Movie
going to bring the
party scene.
party in
I
as
have a
we
few in my mind. I have a few in my mind already. Movie party scenes. Let's
movie party scenes.
go.
So that's
Let's go. Movie
that's
party
where
scene.
we'll go for
There
next
is
week.
the party scene from House Party, of course. There's the party scene from what is the movie? Oh my God, it's the movie where they're in high school and the guy loves the girl and he sends the message the whole time, and then and the two kids get caught in the bathroom. Anyway, that one, of course, you got to do the party scene from um
Kid and Play.
no, well that's House Party,
House
but you
party.
got to do the
Okay.
party. You got to do the party scene from Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't buy me love. All right. Movie party scenes it is.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like
movie
you
party scene.
Kitty's working on the list already. I don't know
I
whether is
got
it a
the
party
list.
scene? Oh, please put Euro Trip on the list. Scotty doesn't know. I just love that scene.
Oh, is that a party scene or is that a heartbreak scene?
That's a party scene because they're at the
Scotty doesn't
graduation
know.
party when he finds out his
Well,
girlfriend
she
is
stands
cheating
it.
on him.
And I think, the thing I love about that is that in Smallville, she's like Lana Lang in Smallville, and she's like the girl next door. And at the same time, like I don't know if that was the same time Smallville was running or after Smallville or like kind of like that, but she was that actress was known for being the girl next door. Now she's like being all slutty, and Scotty doesn't know. And I'm like, I can't see her like this. I'm sorry, I can't.
But it's a funny scene. I don't know why I like that movie so much. I actually own that movie. I'm not a well
Cause you,
person.
cause you like cutting men off at the knees.
That's not true, but that's
Well, that's what it sounds like.
but that I don't know. That movie, it's so wrong, it's so stupid, it's so silly. And there have been other movies that have been equally stupid and silly, but I don't know. I just didn't like them as
That
much as
that
I
that
like that movie.
that sounds like a show. The stupid movies that you like are embarrassed to actually like because I love the Porky's movies.
The Porky's, oh yeah. Well, that's called Guilty Pleasures. I think we've done a Guilty Pleasures show,
Yeah,
but
I get the
we could
pleasure.
do
Yeah.
another. We can always do another one and just bring your top 5 guilty pleasures because
Yes,
it's
yes.
not pop culture without guilty pleasures.
No, it's not. It is not.
Lisa, thanks so much for hanging out with us on this Sunday night. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us on another Sunday night. Pop Culture Kids. We're here every Sunday. Check us out on the website, kathyandkenny.com. And as always, in parting, we wish you love, peace, and pop culture.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Kathy and Kenny here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies.
Thank you for
so
geeking out
bright.
with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny
Join us
Explain
for
Pop
a
Culture.
blast tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow, sharing all the things you need to know. Kathy and Kenny always in the mix. Pop culture fun fix to fix. Pop culture kids podcast crew, tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone. Sit for everyone. I brought some for everyone.